Well, I think we're ready to get started on the deep dive. Welcome to everybody joining this Monday morning. It's June 10th, and hopefully you had a great weekend. And it feels certainly like summer where we're at here in Richmond, Virginia, and hopefully where you're at. But welcome to the deep dive. This morning, we are going to talk about expired listings, FSBOs, all the things that are happening in that area of our business. And I'm really this morning going to make the case for why we'll see more expired listings this year than what we've seen in the previous 2 years. And so excited for that. Certainly invite somebody, maybe tag somebody or share this deep dive with somebody that you know that needs to be on and hear about this so that they can be as educated as you are. And let us know always where you're watching from. I see a Ken there from San Pedro. It's always so good to start the week off, seeing people from all over the country joining the deep dive. And I just want to say thank you for the support you give us at Keeping Current Matters and certainly on the deep dive. Linda, see you there in Bucks County. Great to see you. Tammy, Scott down in Destin. Great to see you always. So many great people, joining the deep dive. Tell me what you're seeing right now out in your market. Maybe more inventory in some areas. Seeing any expired listings happening right now? Cassandra, see you there. Greg in Williamsburg, Virginia, just down the road from us here. Carol in Rock Hill, Ryan in Tampa. So good to see everybody on the deep dive this morning. We'll get started here in just a minute. Give it just another minute for folks to join. But if you missed what I was saying earlier, we're talking about expireds and FSBOs this morning, and why we will see more of those this year than what we've seen. Scott, see you there. 3-year high in inventory, which is good. Rebecca, seeing more inventory and activity from buyers. Alicia and Boca Raton, great to have you on. Great to have so many people on this morning for the deep dive. Let's get this week started off the right way and hop in. So great to have everybody on here. Boston, low inventory and bidding wars. So certainly depending on where you are at, we're seeing different things happen here, but certainly want to stay on top of that. Kathy, see you in Santa Clarita. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and get us started here. Again, if you know somebody that needs to be on this deep dive, go ahead and tag them on here and invite them in so that we have as many people as possible educated on the best topics and the most important topics that we need to be talking about in real estate. I mentioned earlier, expireds and FSBOs. That is the the topic this morning. And why is it important? Certainly for a seller, if a seller's home is not being sold, then questions and concerns come up. Why isn't it? What are the issues that are around that property, associated with that property that are making it not sell? For the buyer, they then start to have questions and concerns of, does it need repairs, and what's going on there? Is there an issue that people don't want to get into in the market when a listing expires? There are 2 days on the calendar that more listings expire than any other day. They're June 30th coming up here in just a few weeks, and December 31st. Because most listing contracts, a lot are written to the middle of the year or maybe the end of the year, depending on when the listing is taken. So my advice right now would be to, one, start looking at what is going to be expiring maybe in your market, but also if you have listings that could be expiring, now is the time to have a conversation with them. So, I want to give you a little bit of data before we hop into, what is going on and how do you approach an expired listing. And maybe for some of you, you've known this, maybe it's a reminder for you because we've been out of a market that hasn't had many expireds. But the first thing I would point to that says, we'll see more expired listings is the velocity in the market. This is a look right here at active listings and how currently they're greater than new listings out there. And this goes all the way back to January of 2021. And here's the point. This is a great measure of market velocity. Back in 2021 and at times there kind of coming into January 2022, you can see the green bars outpaced some of the blue bars, meaning we couldn't bring inventory to market fast enough, right? And those were the years of the unicorn years, the years of COVID, post-COVID, where people said, we're going to hop in, mortgage rates were really favorable. And now as rates have started to rise, and you see about the midpoint of January 2020 or of 2022, when active listings have outpaced new listings, meaning more inventory is pooling in the market. And certainly Scott mentioned down in Florida, seeing more inventory there. In Boston, maybe not as much, but most parts of the country are seeing more inventory than what they saw this time last year. You know, we've talked a lot about that. We've used the calculated risk blog that says generally there's about 35% more inventory week over, each week than there was this same time last year. So about a third more active inventory in the market. But so if we see velocity in the market starting to slow down, well, what else also do we know? Listings have grown. This is a look at total listings from realtor.com in this country from January, February, March, April, May of this year, gradually increased. So you have sales slowing down, you have inventory growing. By the way, existing home sales, if we start to look at that, this is really where it gets very, very interesting, is existing home sales right here. This is a look going back all the way back to 1999 up to 2023. And then I'm going to add in 2024 here in just a moment. But this is a look at traditionally how sales have gone for the past, in this case, 24 years. We add in this red bar right here. Let me see if I can get that in there. And you see, it just gives you a visual representation of how low the pace of sales have gone. And if I kind of maximize this over the last 25 years, there have only been, and I was looking at this and I can't quite tell the colors, but there have only been 2 years that we've outpaced in just the number of homes that have sold. Even Lance Lambert, who does Resi Club, does phenomenal work in getting information out, said this is a market compared to the late 70s. And so we certainly know that we need more inventory in this market. We certainly know we want to see more sales. We want to see more velocity. But as we make this case for expireds, the truth is velocity is down, the rate at which things sell. Inventory is up and sales are down. All of that points to listings will expire. And I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking just about what the seller's options are. How do you interact with somebody in that particular case? And then we're going to talk about FSBOs as well. And I've got some very interesting information that our research team has found on FSBOs. But when a listing expires, the seller has 4 options. They can relist with their current agent. They can relist with a new agent, or they can always take the home off the market, or they can list it for sale by owner, right? Those are the 4 outcomes of a listing expiring. And listen, if you're on the deep dive this morning, you may have a listing that's going to expire. And listen, I think the conversation that you have with that person, the truthful conversation, is critically important. If you are in a market where listings are expiring and there's not a conversation being happen, that's your chance to step in and talk to somebody and give them the truth. Maybe it's a pricing issue. Maybe it's a number of different things. But for the next few minutes, we're going to focus on these top 2: relisting with a current agent. Maybe that's somebody on the call here, or relisting with a new agent. Again, maybe that's you. Maybe you don't have that expired listing, but you want to step in and have that. And I'm going to give you a resource for it here in just a moment. But I'll start off with a couple of things. What are the 3 steps to winning an expired listing, no matter the situation? Well, first, you have to understand the seller's psychology. If you're trying to sell your home and it hasn't, the first step is you start to rationalize it. You kind of say, well, we didn't want to sell it anyways, or I was talking to somebody literally this weekend about selling their home, and they said, you know what, I'm not sure we wanted to sell it anyways. And we were kind of thinking about it, but didn't sell. Not sure we wanted to do it. They start to rationalize it, and then they form a reaction to it. The reaction is well, maybe we didn't have the right agent or wasn't the right time or whatever their reaction in the justification of it starts to happen. And then displacement happens. And we have to understand stepping into a conversation about an expired listing could be a time where we take sort of a brunt of some of that. You know, maybe the agent that listed the home didn't have an honest pricing conversation with them. Maybe they didn't have an honest conversation about things that needed to be updated or fixed in the home to make it show better. And now we are sort of the recipients of that. You know, the best example for displacement a lot of times is, say you go through something at work or something challenging in your day, and you come home and you take it out on your family or your kids or your spouse or whatever the case is. That's displacement, right? Something happened to me, so I step into a scenario and I give somebody else the sort of the impact of that because it's happened to me. We have to understand the psychology of somebody that we're sitting down, that we're talking to. Then we have to understand and really be able to diagnose what are the factors, step 2 here, that may have prevented the house from selling. There are 3 things that we, by and large, have looked at that prevent homes from selling. 1, having proper access, right? The ability of people to get into the home to look at it when they want to. 2nd, making it look good, doing the things to the yard and the exterior and the interior that make a home show better, has a direct impact on how quickly it sells. And 3rd, in this market, it's all about pricing. Is it priced compellingly? You know, the founder of KCM, Steve Harney, used to always say, if it's not priced if the price is not compelling, it's not selling. Always think about that. This is a market where pricing is critically important. And you'll see that when we talk about FSBOs. One of the biggest issues in a FSBO is, do I have the home priced right? That is one of the biggest options. And then 3 is the 4 options the seller has. We went through those. They can relist with their current agent. They can take the house off the market. They can list with a new agent, or they can go FSBO. Those are the 3 options. I want to give you a resource real quick to be able to kind of take this deeper. If you're new and you haven't, maybe gone out and talked with an expired listing yet, we have an e-guide, the 3 steps to winning expired listings, that takes all of this a little bit deeper, takes it a little bit farther, and gives you a resource to be able to go back to and really get down your approach to these expired listings. Go to trykcm.com/expireds. You see it there at the bottom of the screen, trykcm.com/expireds. You can download that e-guide. If you're not a KCM member, you can grab it right there. If you are a KCM member, you can grab it in the My KCM Member area if you just want a refresher to be able to use that. But it gives you all that you need, kind of going back to what I just broke down: seller psychology, why the home didn't sell, and what are the options they have going forward, so that you can be the best at really giving this seller the information they need to hear. You know, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation, somebody's told you something that you didn't really want to hear, but it was the truth. And that's what I think in this market. If a home is not selling, they may need to hear the truth. And the truth can be tough at times because maybe they didn't want to hear it when they listed the home, but you can step in and make a difference there. You know, the other piece that I told you we were going to talk about is listing the house for sale by owner. I'm going to give you some information about that, but this is all about us stepping in and saying, hey, you don't want to do that. Well, let me show you the value that we provide as agents. I believe there are 5 reasons why any seller, any home buyer, anybody should hire an agent, and it's better than FSBOing. You know, watch on the Keeping Current Matters social channels. We just recorded a video on this, and I think it's a great video here for June, for National Homeownership Month, to talk about the 5 reasons to hire a real estate professional. First reason, in today's heavily regulated environment, all the disclosures, all the contracts, all the things you need to understand and execute, critically important in the value that a great professional brings. Second, great real estate agents are well versed in the entire sales process. What needs to happen, what happens next, what's going to happen, what's coming up, so that we can guide clients forward confidently. Third, and everybody on the deep dive knows this morning very, very well, we act as a buffer in the negotiations throughout the entire transaction, right? That's our job, is to be able to make things go forward when you have two parties that maybe don't agree. It may be, I'm sure everybody on the call could give stories of how they've done that, but no doubt that is a critical value that a great professional brings. Fourth there, I just say second, we simply and effectively explain today's market conditions. That's why you're on the deep dive this morning, to be able to simply and effectively explain what's happening. Go back to what I talked about, to be able to talk about the velocity in the market, inventory rising, not only nationally, but in your local market, the number of homes that are being sold, and really show people this is what's happening right now, where we're at. And fifth here, pricing. Critically important in this market. If somebody's serious about selling their home and doing it quickly, they need to have it priced right. Now, one of the things that's interesting about FSBOs that I want to bring to your attention, it'd be great to hear, certainly in the comments, if anybody has any thoughts on this. I'll give you a couple of mine, but FSBOs as a percentage of all home sales, this is a graphic going all the way back to the 80s, has dropped over the last many years. And I think there are a lot of reasons for that. One, some of the complexities that are out in the market, some of the pricing issues, and some of the ways that agents have been marketing properties. FSBOs have gone down over time. I don't know if you've seen that in your market, or how you feel about that, or what you've seen, but there's no doubt nationally, as those are measured, they have gone down over the last several decades. And there are reasons that people choose to FSBO. If you look at these, the first one, they're going to sell it to a relative or friend or neighbor. There's likely not anything that we're going to be able to do to change that, right? We can't change that. But the other one is, we did not want to pay a commission or a fee. 31% said that about FSBOing. And right, there's a lot of talk about that right now out in real estate. And this is the area where we say, this is what you're paying for. This is what I bring to the transaction. That is absolutely an area that we can make a difference in. 20% said the buyer contacted the seller directly. 6% had a license. 5% didn't want to deal with an agent. 2% said it was some other reason. But the primary one is that I didn't want to pay a commission or fee, right? That's all about, okay, what does that ultimately mean? Some of the most difficult tasks for FSBOs, number one right there, if you see the top left, getting the price right. That's where I would step in and say, okay, look, this is what I bring to the transaction. Here's how I help you price the home right. I think we will see in this market more people think, you know what, I may want to sell it on my own. Right? I've known several people that have tried to do that, literally that have put up a sign in their yard, couldn't sell it. The week that they listed it with an agent, sold it within a couple of weeks, very, very quickly. The tasks that line up here, I'm not going to go through all of them, but getting it priced right, selling within the length of time quickly like they wanted, understanding and performing all the disclosures and paperwork that come with it are the areas that we want to help them with. How FSBO sellers determine the asking price of their home. Recent solds in the area, an appraisal, online home valuation tool. I don't know what they're using there. The profit they needed for a sale. That is so true, right? And that can be a reason somebody decides to FSBO as well, right? I don't have enough room to be able to pay a commission. Now, I don't think that's as likely in the market today as what it's been in the past, but certainly could be that. The ways that FSBOs market homes, according to NAR, yard signs, social networks, friends, neighbors, all those kinds of things. 26% did nothing. They didn't actively market the home. These are things that when you're sitting down with somebody, if you're a KCM member, you can bring all of this to somebody to say, hey, let me educate you on what's going on with FSBOs. Great way to show people these are the facts. This is everything happening with people that try to sell their home on their own. Agents, what they use to market homes, MLS, certainly that's a big piece there. Yard signs, open houses, site websites, social network, virtual tours, all the things that we know that we use to educate folks on how to sell a house and how to get things out there. I'm gonna wrap up this deep dive and give you a couple of things that we have that will help you get this message out in the market. But I want to close with this quote here from Bankrate. Selling your home on your own is certainly possible, but it's a lot of work and doesn't guarantee any significant savings. If you have experience and confidence in your knowledge of real estate transactions, it can be a good option, but it can also work for sellers who do not want to give up any aspect of control to anyone. However, the typical home seller will benefit from professional agent representation, both financially and by having an expert working on their behalf to handle all the deals. And certainly that is the truth about why we do the deep dive each Monday morning, is for the professional agent. How do you be the professional agent? Well, certainly you got to gather knowledge and you got to share that knowledge. And we want to give you tools and resources to help share that knowledge in anything from Real Talk scripts to the social posts that we're producing right now to the blogs, everything to put in your hands what you need to be the expert in your market. And I'll wrap up and go back, if I can go back to it, to the slide. If you haven't downloaded the expired e-guide, go in and do that. It'll help you as you talk with those that maybe are coming up on expired listings. Be the professional agent, be the educated agent, simply and effectively explain what's happening in this market and how you'll help them navigate it. As always, it is great to do the deep dive each Monday morning. I'm grateful for everybody that joins, see everybody in all the comments you've made this morning. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining. And listen, if you're not a KCM member, go in and download the e-guide and start a free trial. You can grab all the information that you can use to get your message out in the market. We'll see you back next week. And listen, next week's going to be a great deep dive. We're going to talk about the impact the 2024 election could have on this real estate market. It's a topic that we get a lot of questions about right now. You're going to want to join that deep dive next week. So we'll see you back next Monday. Hope you have a great week.